Hi, my name is Anitra Goulart, and I will be teaching a lesson today on intervention strategies for maladaptive behaviors in the classroom. So last week we learned about common triggers and maladaptive behaviors in children with ASD. And so this week today we will learn some effective intervention strategies to assist in facilitating positive responses to triggers in an effort to avoid maladaptive behaviors and create a learning environment that is more advantageous to the student. This concept is supported by building communication skills that are necessary for effective communication. So to start off, we will be going over some stats. So I'm going to make an effort to share my screen so that we can go over those very quickly. Let's see. All right, here we go. So first we will go over some stats for lesson for today. And excuse my voice, I'm losing it, so I'll do my best to speak as loudly as I can. So 26% of self-injurious behavior in the classroom is a direct result of sensory stimulation problems, while 38% of self-injurious behaviors is used to escape demands. So these are activities or assignments that children are trying to avoid or are undesirable to them. Another 26% of self-injurious behavior is caused by misused positive social attention. And again, self-injurious behaviors such as headbanging and hitting oneself is present in almost 1/3 of children with ASD. And 70.9% of children with ASD have experienced a period of severe temper tantrums, which was mentioned before, like injuring themselves, injuring others, hitting, biting, kicking, screaming, those type of temper tantrums. And lastly, 1/3 of principals believe that their teachers are not well prepared to maintain order in the classroom in regard to students with maladaptive behaviors. So those are some stats that we're working with today. So we can see, I'm going to pause here. So we can see by these stats that behavioral interventions are necessary with children diagnosed with ASD are necessary in helping to create a more effective learning environment for the classroom as a whole. Additionally, behavioral interventions can facilitate better quality of communication skills for students with ASD who are struggling with maladaptive behaviors, as well as improve their quality of life as a whole in general. So before we go over some behavioral interventions, I'm going to take a look at some areas of skill building that will assist in developing effective communication skills helpful to the intervention process. So here I will share my, excuse me, slide. Move on to communications. I think go over some information about communication. So maladaptive behaviors were discussed in last week's lesson. So we can be attempt to communicate, for maladaptive behavior can be an attempt to demonstrate or communicate discomfort or stress in the student. Lacking the ability to use conventional signals that would convey what the listener, as the teachers or instructional assistants, need to know to comprehend what they need, their wants and their needs, can lead to use of maladaptive behavior in order for them to express themselves. And that's Brooklyn 1992. In addition, ASD can cause extreme sensitivity to environmental disruptions, which may appear to be minor to others, such as like school bells or change of routine in the classroom. Children with ASD usually like to work within a structured environment, or even change in temperature in the classroom, and that's from McDonald and Steve in 2000. So the lack of a more reliable means of communication often leads to maladaptive behavior as a way to change an undesirable environment. So you can see on our, hopefully you guys are using your slide notes in paper and stuff that were provided for you to take notes. Some of the areas of difficulty in communication listed are language for social purposes, requesting an item, asking or answering questions, greeting someone, commenting on something, just typical banter conversation, and expression of feelings, very important one, and that's Hodgkin 1999. So we talked about the different areas of difficulty for communication for students with ASD. I would like to move on to go over some building some skills for communication, starting with the skill of making choices and requests. So offering choices may reduce the student's resistance to learning and help them to an alternative activity. Like if they need to do something different in order to change their environment for their behavior as such. The important concept learned in this situation is that one gets what one chooses. And usually using visual choices, presenting the student with two or so choices is a good introduction to the concept. So not giving them too many choices, because as they're learning this new concept, this new tool of communication, we want to present them with minimal amount of choices, so until they get the idea, and then add on as they begin to pick up and use the concept. The other is the skill of protesting or rejecting, basically saying no, or prefer not to do something. And this teach these students to protest or reject choices is equally significant to learning to make choices and requests, as for increasing appropriate communication. Students on the spectrum may need clear instruction on how to comprehend the protest of others, as well as how to use protest to meet their own wants and needs. Techniques such as role play, mirror practice are great visual tools to demonstrate no. So I'm going to pause here. And so when a student displays maladaptive behavior as a protest, it creates an opportunity to teach appropriate protests. So for example, if you say your student, getting your student to convey to you, like by saying, if you don't want this toy, then tell me no. And then respect the choice of the student makes, and then allowing him or her to exert control over their environment. So this will reinforce the appropriate protest while ignoring the maladaptive behavior, which is obviously what our target goal is. And that's from McDonald and Steve in 2000 as well. So now that we have gone over some communications and building some skills for communication to help with avoiding maladaptive behavior in the classroom, and I want to go over a tool that's very successful in helping to build communication skills with children who are nonverbal, as well as lacking in verbal skills. So this is called the Picture Exchange Communication System, otherwise known as PECS system, and it's another technique suggested by Hodgkin 1999. Using picture exchange communication system, or students practice initiating requests and engaging with a partner. So this involves cards with pictures, photographs, symbols, words to make requests, comments, or answer questions. And so in order to get an idea of what this looks like, we're going to be watching a video. So I'm going to see if I can get this shared. Let's see.
More than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find really good. No.
Skip that advertisement. Get into it's about a 3-minute video. Put it on full screen. Hopefully it doesn't.
Hi, I'm Joe from Pyramid Educational Consultants. Welcome to this short video designed to help you get everything ready for teaching your first PECS lesson. The first and most important thing you need to have ready is something that your learner wants. We call this a reinforcer. Candy. It is ideal to have at least 3 reinforcers before you begin. You can identify reinforcers by eliciting or observing 3 different behavior patterns. Look for items they exert effort to gain access to. Look for items they resist having taken away. Look for items they spend a lot of time with. These can be toys from around your home or school, food items, or anything they like. The second thing you need to do is prepare corresponding picture symbols. The Pics for PECS CD or PECS 151 picture set can make this easier for you. You need to find a symbol that represents the item, and then give the picture a label so that everyone on your team names it consistently. You then need to ensure that the symbols are tough enough to last. It is a good idea to laminate them. Next, you need to apply hook and loop fastener to the symbol. We always apply the loop fastener, which is the soft side, to the symbol, and then the hook fastener, which is the hard side, to the book. Now you are ready to get started. Here are a few pointers to help you. Here is a PECS communication book. We sell these to make getting started quick and easy. In addition, we sell PECS starter kits that include all you need in one convenient set. Please look at the PECS training manual for instructions on how to implement the PECS protocol. To get a better understanding of how to implement and teach each phase of PECS, it is recommended that you attend the PECS Level 1 training. Go to www.pecs.com for information on upcoming workshop dates in an area near you. Once you have attended PECS Level 1 training or read the PECS training manual, you will need to locate another person to act as a physical prompter to assist in teaching the first phase of PECS. Robot. We wish you the best, and remember, we are here to support you in helping your learners to achieve their full potential. Go to www.pecs.com for more information about PECS and to locate an office near you.
Okay, so there was some great information there on how the PECS system works. And but it always kind of sits better if we get that opportunity to practice. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take about 10 minutes to practice. So one thing I want to say beforehand, so you guys can keep this in mind as you're practicing. I'll explain the process in a few minutes, but the teacher should use like words and signs and pictures that will most help the student to exert control over their environment with the goal of getting their needs and wants met, basically. So this will cause a strong social response to others, as well as accomplishing the additional goal of helping them to participate in the world around them through communication. And to replace, obviously, the maladaptive behaviors with appropriate communication, which again is our goal here. So looked down with Stephen 2000. So I just wanted to ask you guys a question. After watching the video, what do you think would be a limitation to nonverbal students, clients with ASD in regard to using the PEC system. Like, what do you think would be some limitations for that? Anybody? And then I have here just prize box that we used last week with lots of little yummy treats and sugar to keep you guys awake and alert. So we tossing those out. You guys can come up and choose out of the box as you answer different questions to get you guys motivated to participate. So yes, go ahead. Yeah. Yes, and reinforcers, very important, could be a limitation to the PECS system. It's a major component of the PECS system. So to ask, they need use it to ask questions, comment those things. So if they're nonverbal, can't do that. So it's very important that we have the reinforcers so that it makes the process of using the PEC system more effective. It affects their behavior and that they are able to communicate more effectively, obviously, and their desires, and it reduces the instances of maladaptive behavior that typically is associated with lack of communication skill or communication as a whole. So, great answer, good job. Pick out of the box, awesome. So we are going to move on, and so the activity we're going to do is we're going to practice the PEC system, and as you can see through the video, and hopefully you guys were taking notes on that for the website to go to for information on training, information on on buying some of the PEC board systems to use in the classrooms, and those type things. So, and then I'll also have that information along with a couple other resources I have for you towards the end of the class. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, you guys can partner in groups of 2, and I'm going to be passing out, as we'll get these PEC boards. These are like sample PEC boards. And so here you got, for instance, you and your partner will take turns. One will be the student and one will be the instructor, and vice versa. So you get a chance to be on both ends of how this works. And this is a very simple, basic PEX board. And like we were speaking of before, it is better to introduce a couple of things at first. So like if your student, and it's good to know like the likes and dislikes of as far as reinforcers and motivating. And so this is an important part of the intake and assessment process, because that's where you kind of find out what are those motivating factors for your student. And it could be a variety of things. So you just, the boards that you'll be getting and the pictures, things you'll be getting will be a variety of ones, and you can just use them as you see fit. So here, if we want to go with just 2 items, you want to first do a couple of items that are both preferable to your student, to kind of get them acclimated to the idea of the concept before adding any challenges to them. So let's say your student really likes his toys, blocks and stuff like that, really excited about that. And he really likes the sensory play box. Like, those are his 2 favorite things. So you would first start with something that he likes and then give them the choices to choose from these. And typically this would have another thing up here. So whichever one they choose, they would choose it, put it there, and you give them their request, what they for their choice, and they go about it. So as they see how that works, they'll go to that user more to communicate. Then once they are gotten used to the idea, the concept, then you can go on to add maybe one thing that they prefer and one thing that you would like for them to do within the classroom. So reading time, but they want to play with the toys. So this is a good time where you can use when we were speaking of giving them options for saying no, or maybe later. So this would, and you can also use that on this board by placing maybe a blank picture thing here, or not a blank, but use a blank one to write then, now, and later, or then, or whatever. So they know that if they read now, then they get to play with their toys later. And this works well for when they move them around themselves, so they could be a part of it, the communication process in that way. When when they're finished or when they're done, they can hand this to you or move it around. It's very cool. So you guys will get a chance to practice this together. Give you guys about 10 minutes or so to have some fun with that. Okay, great job, everyone, participating. You guys, see you guys, some of you guys really use your imaginations. Some of you pretending like you're a 9-year-old or a 12-year-old, which was kind of cute. So that was awesome. So, a question, after having the opportunity to practice the PECS system with your communication partner, what do you think would be some limitations to the effectiveness of it? Do you think you have some answers for that? Yes. Yeah, it's well, it's kind of, well, I guess I should say, because we did talk about the limitations of Professor, you're right, it would be the reinforcers, and we did talk about that. Other limitations to it could be if the child does not respond. And this is a good point to bring up, where I will be bringing up a few other tools. And sometimes if your child has issues with paying attention or and those type of things, this would not work, may not work for them. So that's why we have to be sure to assess the student and to make sure that we're using the proper tools that's unique to their particular situation. So yes, this could be a situation where the child just doesn't connect with it. And so yeah, that's a limitation based on that child's particular, and that could be a number of things as to why it doesn't work. And of course, high functioning students on the spectrum may not necessarily need to use this. So this again would be more for students who are nonverbal or lacking in social communication skills. So that's awesome. Okay, great. So speaking of other forms of other tools that can be used to help with communicating, we're going to move on to our next one. And this is called video modeling, which is pretty cool. And so this is helpful for social skills, and social skills are learned skills that we use to have successful social interactions, standard 2013. And video modeling is a visual teaching method that occurs by watching a video of someone modeling a targeted behavior or skill, and then imitating that behavior or skill that was watched. So that's Nicopolis and Keen in 2007. It can teach multiple skills simultaneously, which is great, and is a simple and effective tool that motivates children to learn. So it's awesome. And some of the videos are actually done by other children, so it really helps the children to connect because it's coming from one of their peers. So for the student on the spectrum where social skills are often a core deficit, video modeling is most effective for teaching what does not come naturally to them. Again, Nicopolis and Keen in 2007. So sharing is a social skill that is useful in a classroom setting. Yes, we definitely want our students to learn how to share. So we will be watching a video on video modeling that's about sharing. So let's see if we can get this up. Let's see here. Let's see.
Sharing joys is a nice thing to do. My friends are sad when I take a joy away from them without asking. Can I borrow that purple? Of course. Thanks. If my friends are playing with the toy that I want, I will ask, can I play with it? If they say no, I will ask, can I play with it when you're done, please? Then I will go find something else to do until it's my turn. Can I use that paddle ball right now? Not right now. Okay, can I use it later once you're done then? Sure. Okay, I'll go play with Legos.
Okay. Okay, so video modeling can be combined with other teaching methods to create a multisensory learning opportunity by including other sensory.
You ever wondered what
Sorry, guys.
actors and actresses do when they have to get in shape really fast for a movie? Because I can promise you, it's not the same diet that you're following and the same training plan that you try.
Okay, let's try this again. Okay, sorry about that. So, where was I? So, by including other sensory stimulation in a learning situation, it allows for promotion of skill acquisition, enhancement of skill performance, and reduces problem behaviors, which of course is our goal. So, and that's Watch Me Learn 2003 through 2020. So you guys ready for some more candy, some more sweets? I have another question for you guys. So what is an example that can be modeled through video, which would teach multiple skills? So we talked about how you can teach multiple skills like simultaneously while through this video modeling. So consider something that would be appropriate for like the adolescent population in regard to ASD. Yes, Sarah. Yes, I'm serious. It's building blocks or something of that sort. Yes, those are good. I mean, and kids of all ages love Legos and building blocks and such like that. So that's a good example. And what are some multiple skills that could be learned through that process? Definitely motor skills, for sure. Motor skills, sharing, yes. Taking turns, which is part of sharing, but balance skills, yes. Language, and then of course, those are all great. And then just having fun, learning to have fun and to interact with others and just on their own. Anyone else? One more. Yes. Yes, definitely sports. I mean, sports for pretty much any child, which is good opportunity to learn how to interact with others, with their peers, to share, to learn teach a speech as far as like pass the shoot it, I missed, or um, other things like having empathy, showing empathy for others. 9 times out of 10, someone's going to get hurt out there playing the sport, and being able to go, "Are you okay?" and showing sympathy for the person who maybe missed a shot and is sad. So great, great answers for opportunities for learning multiple skills. Awesome. And grab something there out of the treasure box, out of your text box. Awesome. So I have one more strategy that I would like to share with you guys that's helpful for communicating, and well, not necessarily just for communicating, but just helpful in helping with the triggers and maladaptive behavior that comes in with students with ASD in the classroom that may be triggered for a variety of reasons that we spoke about last week. As far as anxiety, being tired, sensory stimulation, those type of things. So speaking of sensory stimulation, the other strategy that I would like to talk to you guys about is environmental changes. So this concept focuses on changing the environment in which their student is learning, so to fit their needs. So that first sensory stimulation, that would look like maybe eliminating fluorescent lighting, lowering the sound of the bell system within the classroom, outside the classroom, carpeting the floors or having a special carpeted area, putting tennis balls underneath the chairs so that there's not a squeaky loud noise that usually drives everyone crazy, but children ASD seem to have more of a sensitivity to. And then, so those are all great ways that you can change the environment, and just like other things like structure, like that can help with maladaptive behavior. Children ASD love to have their structured time, know what's going to go on. They get used to those things. Being out of routine is something that could trigger a maladaptive behavior. So having something you could use like a system like this, like the PEC system, to communicate the routine, having their schedule bell go to their table, their desk, with what they're going to do throughout the day, recess, math, like playtime, however their day is going to go. They can even move those the photos pegs over from the line that needs to be done to the line that's completed, so that they're a part of the whole process. So those are ways that you can make it easier on their environment for them to blossom and to thrive in. Another thing would be to, and I mentioned earlier, just having a place for them to kind of de-escalate when they are having difficulties within the classroom for whatever reason, where they can separate themselves and kind of gather themselves and then get back into with the classroom, with their classmates. So those are some areas that can be modified within your classroom that could be helpful to your students. So to keep that in mind. So as we contemplate the various intervention strategies for maladaptive behavior within the classroom, it is important to keep in mind as well the student and his or her family's personal or cultural beliefs and practices. Very important. Knowing a family's cultural background provides insight into how the student thinks about their condition, as well as how social and cultural factors can influence how they receive and experience their intervention. And that's Ines Cole et al. 2013. So I'm gonna ask you guys to get some questions here, and this time you guys just go ahead and shout them out. Don't worry about raise your hand or anything like that. Just some about some ideas that you have. So, what are some cultural factors to consider when working with students affected by autism and, of course, in their families? So, you guys can just go ahead. Some out there, and then I'll be giving you some more sugar to help you guys stay alert, pay attention. Yeah, so go ahead. Definitely language, yes. And gender, yes, gender, of course. Nationality, yes. Ethnicity, same. And then, yes, of course, as we were saying, beliefs and values. Those are things to consider. On top of that, religion is definitely high on that. Yes, this economic, socioeconomic status. And anyone else, one or two more? Family structure is a good one. Yes, and I think someone already said, yeah, language, yes. Good job, because those are all really great answers. You guys can all let me pick out of the box if you want, or I can toss some of them to you. Good job. That was awesome. Thanks, you guys, for your participation. I really appreciate it. Okay, so all great answers. And so learning about the culture and heritage of diverse communities, and getting to know what others consider as normal within their respective cultures, considering language barriers, as well as taking the time to listen, are all effective ways of practicing cultural sensitivity. As professionals, we're called to be mindful of our ethical responsibility to be respectful of the different cultures we may encounter with our students and their families. The Model Code of Ethics for Educators, MCEE 2017, mandates in Principle 3 under responsibility to students. Says the professional educator respects the rights and dignity of students by respecting students by taking into account their age, their gender, which we spoke about, culture, and setting its cultural setting, and socioeconomic context. So these are things that we were just talking about. So great answers, you guys. And then also communicating with students in a clear, respectful, and culturally sensitive. So all these things are so important when working with our students and their families, and just not only just out of respect, but also because it has a huge impact on how effective their learning process is in the classroom, as well as any interventions that we want to implement to help them along in that. So ultimately, these codes support how I approach my relationship with clients and their families, as guided by my faith. And one scripture in particular, which comes from the Bible that I seek advice from like moral guidance and other things, has this to say on the matter of consideration of others. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of others. And that's in Philippians 2, 3, verses 3 and 4. So I really take that to heart as far as like how I interact with others, and making sure that I put their needs and their values and those things that are important to them above my own in these instances, because that's how we are able to really come alongside them by understanding who they are, what helps them to thrive. All those things will help not only the child, but their family, and in helping the family, we are in fact still helping the child. So that's a very important concept. And as cultural awareness is an important factor in working with children and their families, I also like to share some advice I received during an interview with a paraprofessional. We were going over the importance of culture, and the importance of respect for culture, respect for having a sensitivity for not just other cultures, but the subcultures within the community. This person has over 13 years of experience in the field, so it was awesome having that conversation with him and be able to gain some really great advice. So says by being open-minded and educated about the community you serve, this is his comment on how we can better be aware, better serve our students and their families with their cultural awareness in mind. But also understanding that each family has its own subculture, values, and beliefs, and we can show sensitivity and respect for each student's family and community. Communication is essential amongst the team. This part I thought was really important because we work together with a variety of people between our the teachers and the assistants and the principal and the social workers and everyone that's involved in our students' lives. We're all a team working on their behalf, and it's important for us to be able to collaborate and work together and make sure we're giving them the best care possible. So, so it's essential that we notice inconsistencies or insensitivity to students and their families, especially when teaching classes online and the family is present and work together to rectify them. So it's very important. And I like the fact that that was brought up about teaching online, especially with COVID and being a factor in the educational system right now, where children are being taught from home by parents who are some are more so than others are not very happy about the concept or feel like they're well equipped to do so. So we're getting a glimpse into the students' families' lives through this via the internet, and so in this way, it's very important to really consider what that looks like when you have the family as a part of the classroom curriculum, as part of the process, and that we're respecting their values in their household as we are invited in via Zoom or whatever means. So it was great that that was brought up, and I think it's very relevant for some of you teachers who still might be teaching your students online, or some of you who have clients where you're working with them through Zoom and you're getting an idea, or you're working in their homes, you give an idea of the fact that when we're entering their domain and we're a part of that we're being respectful of who they are and their practices and all those things. Okay, so I think that it's very important. Okay, so like we're getting close to time here, I definitely wanted to leave you guys with some extra resources in addition to the one that was in the video earlier. I know there might be some questions out that you guys may have, so I definitely plan on staying after class to go over any questions that you guys and concerns you guys might have, since we are short on time here. But before, so I want to go over some great couple of other resources that you guys are hopefully taking notes and adding to your repertoire. If not, I do have them a copy that you guys can take with you as you leave. And so first one is through Watch Me Learn. And this was a good resource for getting more information on the video modeling, which is why I was able to go online and other resources and find out information on video modeling. This program uses the latest research in teaching and learning to offer children engaging tools that develop critically important social, language, and functional skills, which is awesome, by using research-proven video modeling techniques. It's really great. And they are the leading provider of multi-sensory and video modeling teaching tools for children with developmental delays, speech delays, or autism. So it's perfect. And that's through Watch Me Learn 2003 to 2020. Their teaching principles of childhood developmental goals are based in techniques such as ABA, which is another very important and very well used concept or therapy for individuals, children that are on the spectrum. So great science-based, evidence-based treatment plan there. And have been tested by classroom educators as well as BCBAs, board certified behavior analysis, parents, and doctors. Again, through Watch Me Learn 2003 to 2020. So the site provides information as well as products to assist with teaching in the classroom and at home. So they have the products there, and they also have information um, on their website for learning how to use the videos and or to make the videos and stuff like that. So it's really awesome. So we'll have that for you guys. The other source was Autism Supply Developments, ASD, which I thought was really great. That they're sharing the same acronym as for autism spectrum disorder. And this is a married couple actually whose son is autistic, and they founded this company in an effort to find better quality supplies to use for teaching their son. So that's where that started, and the website provides products to assist individuals with ASD with a range of comprehensive visual supports. Like actually, I got this these things that I got for you guys for the class was from their website. So they have this along with some other nice information here that I'm going to go over right now. So they have these essential guides that are basically like short guides where they teach you that are focused, well, pretty much on whatever you select. So if you're going in for like behavior or routine, topics like that, you go in, you click on the essential guides, and it gives you like short detailed information on written in first person, and they clearly explains like different issues that might come up: social issues, self-control, behavior, personal hygiene, which, you know, between adolescents around that time is an issue with any adolescent. So different things like that, as well as, you know, the appropriate way to handle those situations, depending on the topic that you choose. So that's awesome. And then they also have like the toolkits where you go in, and again, they give you information on different topics, so like behavior, anxiety, sleep issues. That includes worksheets though, and then the worksheets kind of help you to apply what you've learned through the toolbox, through the toolkit that you're using. So you have that kind of interaction where you kind of get an idea of how it works in real life before you actually before you try using it with your student. In this case, if you're giving this resources to a parent before they try using some of those things with their children. So it really does give you a lot of different ideas and information on helping your student and our child. So this would be great information to pass on to your colleagues as well as to parents. And again, I will have this information for you to take home with you after class. So again, I just want to thank you guys so much for being here today and learning about intervention strategies for triggers and maladaptive behavior for your students, your ASD students in your classrooms, and learning these skills to replace maladaptive behaviors can help the student to control his or her environment in a socially acceptable and appropriate manner. And the communication training as well as the visual aids are great tools which both educate and improve the quality of life for its students with ASD. So these are things that we learned today. And I look forward to next week's lesson when we'll learn about creating a individual crisis plan for your students, which is very important for when our students do have a maladaptive episode. So it's always good to have a plan on how to address it, ready and available for each student because everybody's situation is different. So we'll be going over uh, how to put together create plans for that for next week. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, I will be here after class for any questions that you guys may have. And thank you guys for coming, and feel free as you're walking out to take some more goodies with you from the trip. Thank you so much.